Hello, everyone. This is Parker Mooney, Chief of Staff at IML. I'm here with the President of IML, John Mooney, and we recently had the fortune of traveling to Italy, specifically to Florence, to visit the production facilities of the DEKA lasers, one of the lines of lasers that we carry. Our point of contact over there, Valenti, has been incredibly supportive of us bringing the lasers into the U.S. and in supporting us being a key connector to research and development, to the production line, and to the service line. And they have a pretty big reach all across the world. Here is one of their international sales managers, Francesco, we had the pleasure of speaking with briefly. And with David, he was able to give us some unprecedented access in the facility. This here is Andrea Caglioli. He is the president of LN, the parent company of DEKA, and we were really fortunate to be able to connect with him also on the visit. And this really just goes to show the strong connection we have with DEKA, being able to have access to some of the key leaders within the company and being able to visit their production line, which is not something that most visitors are able to visit. They're pretty well known for having a very robust lineup of lasers, quite a lot of technology. Previously have been very involved in the aesthetic space and have in the last several years really branched out into the surgical space as well, which at IML we've been really at the forefront on in the US. And with John having been with DEKA from the beginning, I'm sure he can definitely talk about what it's been like working with David and bringing this line into the U.S.
Yeah, absolutely. It's really been a pleasure to work with these guys, and their technology is way ahead of anything else that we see out there in the market currently, especially with the SmartSide Trio, the CO2 laser that is really one of their flagship products and a real amazing example of their R&D efforts.
Yeah, and it really is the people there that make the difference. Here is Marco. He is their manufacturing production lead, and he's responsible for ensuring that the lasers get put together, they run through the assembly line, and that ultimately we're able to receive them and to distribute a quality product in the U.S. And it was really amazing hearing that story from him of everything that's involved in putting these machines together. And they run 3 different production lines there, so they're constantly coordinating which lasers across their aesthetics, surgical, and industrial lines that they're producing. And they really did have the latest in manufacturing, but it was also really interesting to see in each of these rooms there's one technician that's almost like a craftsman, like putting together these machines piece by piece, which is really incredible to see that level of craftsmanship. It's somewhat of an inefficient process, as someone would say. Putting together a Ferrari or a Maserati is also an inefficient process, but like you said, that's how we get that quality product out of there. And they've expanded quite a bit too, is my understanding, that they've taken on some of the other buildings in the area.
Yeah, when I first started working with them, they probably took up a third of the space that they have now, and with their additional lines, with their manufacturing capabilities, and just expansion of, we had mentioned R&D before. There's essentially a whole new building dedicated to that. I think here you can see some of that manufacturing like we were talking about, which we normally don't get to see.
Yeah, and this was really interesting to see. DEKA is the only surgical laser manufacturer that makes their own laser sources. So you can see here, these are sort of older technology. The CO2 tubes on the Trios and the IM lights are using an RF source, but it's still pretty high quality because they're able to control all those variables with those being made in-house. And it was really interesting seeing them test. Yeah, as you can see here, them testing. And you see, we talked about those bricks that they're using. It's pretty incredible to see just a brick you get at the hardware store that they're testing out this cutting edge technology on. You know, some things change, some things remain the same. If it continues to work, then they
and they just run these lasers continuously as they're testing them out. And like you said before, those particular laser sources are used for a different laser than what we're bringing into the U.S. that uses an RF excited laser source, much more stable and requires a lot less in terms of maintenance.
And you can see here another example of that craftsmanship really going to work, measuring everything out so precisely. And with those RF sources, because they are able to manufacture them in source, they are able to really control the quality of that wavelength. So that's where they're able to get their patented pulse-shaped design technology from. That's not something that, if this was done any other way, I think would really be possible to balance that quality with still having a good amount of production. And it was really incredible to see the diverse group of people that were working here at DEKA. Had some younger guys, some older guys, a variety of backgrounds, and it was really great to see how it all comes together. And being able to see each of the different functions as well. And so here, these guys are testing one of our newer products, the SCAR 3, for CO2 fractional resurfacing, and they test every single scanner that goes through this facility. So again, just that quality and precision throughout the whole process. And it was really cool seeing these young guys here, because as I was saying, there were some guys there that had been there for, I think one guy 14, 15 years, which is something that's really good to see for a manufacturing process, that they're able to keep guys there for that long. They're able to get them earlier in their career, because there's just certain knowledge and skills that is very difficult to just teach someone, and that has to be learned over time. And so it's great to be working with a partner that's able to attract such good talent, keep them there, and that they're able to continue to share that. And as we are continuing to look here, it was really cool to see this up close and impersonal, just all the testing that goes into this, and just fresh off the assembly line. And here you can see a very efficient process they have for picking parts off of their shelves. So this is a fully automated process. I had never seen anything like this before, where they essentially just program in what parts they want that are already pre-stored, and then you can see here they just drop down in the boxes there. And I think this is definitely telling. We've never had any issues with DEKA with getting parts in, and I have no doubt that this is part of that efficiency that you see here. And here's Lisa. She's our marketing director. It was really great being able to have her out also to see the devices up close and personal, to see what they do at DEKA. I think it really helps to tell the story of the DEKA line and of what we do at IML. And this was probably one of the coolest stops along the way. This was in the research and development area, and they have the capacity to print and manufacture their own circuit boards here. They do this primarily for prototyping, but they said that they can also ramp up production of these in case one of their suppliers isn't able to do it. And here is Marco. He is their research and development director. And as we said, they have been putting a ton of resources into research and development, and that's definitely their big differentiator. And the trio really is sort of the culmination of many years of that. And John, being in the industry for a while, you've seen many lasers come and go, so I know you can definitely attest to what is in this device and what DEKA has been able to do.
Yeah, absolutely. The original development of this laser, when we got involved in it, several years ago was already impressive, and just to see the enhancements that they've made and the way it's been continually improving over years, versus a lot of other devices in the market out there is one of the things that excites us about this.